Two.
What is up, everyone? Welcome into Funsie. We had to re-record this intro. You missed me giving my best Ben impression, being Funsie. Yeah, I nailed it. And it's been a little bit. It's just myself and Ben tonight. We had an off week last week. We're celebrating 1 year of Funsie, 1 year of this podcast. So thank you to everyone that has been there, whether you are checking this out for the first time or you've been around since we started a year ago. Pretty insane. But Ben is now a married man. Does it feel different? How many people asked you that?
Not many people asked me if does it feel different. More so, they kept asking me, "Are you nervous?" That was the number one question I got, and the answer was no.
I mean, at that point, nothing's really changing. It's just the title and like officially.
You're
I guess, together.
Yeah, I don't really know what there was to be nervous about. It was just kind of like.
I think people just don't know what to ask in that scenario. So that's just like the go-to thing. They're like, I don't know. Like, that's what you ask? Cool.
No, yeah. It was endearing. Like, people, it was basically, I think it might have been like a gateway to like give me some support, the first initial, like, hey, like, how do you feel, man?
Yeah, they're checking in.
Yeah. So I do appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. But I just thought it was funny. Like, that was the most common thing that I was asked, like, off the bat. Are you nervous? It's kind of like, in my fishing tackle store when I worked there. So I worked there I'm still like a part of Ben's Tackle Shack as an owner, but I worked there like physically, like doing the cashier stuff for 4 years until the expos picked up and I was able to go full time into disc golf. But every single time it'd be like, hey, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Anything or whatever the jargon is, but anything I can help you with. The number one thing the fisherman would say back to me is, nah, I'm just poking around. And I don't know why. I've never heard that term other than in that store, poking around. It was the number one thing that every single person said. I'm just poking around, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was pretty unique just to see that. But yeah, that was the number one thing people asked. Are you nervous? And I wasn't nervous. I was excited, actually. So opposite.
Yeah, and for good reason. I mean, you and your wife had a beautiful wedding. I would also consider that the first disc golf wedding that I've been to. And it was cool. It was cool to like see a bunch of people talk Frisbee. It was a great time overall.
Yeah, and how was your do you get along with your table? Because I put you with sort of, it was like half disc golf, half my friends. Because it was tough to place you, honestly. Like, there was a table with like my Stagger Stance guys, and then there was a table with like Scott and Melissa of 978 and Dave Chandler and Cosmic Dave, like kind of like the older DG people. And I think so I placed you with like my younger kind of disc golf peeps, like Ryan and stuff like that. So how was that? I'm assuming everyone you met there was new to you.
Yeah, like Ben said, I have never met any of those people before, so I was like, what the heck? I'm like, I know so many people here and I don't know any of these. But talking to them and getting to know them, they were all very cool. We got along very easily and quickly.
Sweet. Cool.
And yeah, it made for a good night of meeting new people. But yeah, moving on from that. Ben, tonight is your last night at home. You want to tell the people what's going on?
Yeah, so if you don't already know and don't listen to our podcast, I am going on tour. So I'm going to be at Champions Cup. I'm leaving tomorrow, heading to California, trying to get there for next Wednesday. And I'm going to be the videographer and editor for Gannon Burr and his YouTube manager, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I'm going to be the guy that helps Gannon create more content on his YouTube channel. He's been picking it up recently, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the intro, the sneak peek of what you can expect in the future, because we're going to do a lot more videos, some practice rounds. We're obviously going to keep the battle rounds going. That's his like kind of iconic thing right now, 1v1s. But Yeah, really anything. So comment below any suggestions you want to see. We're gonna do form tips. Behind the scenes. The first thing we're gonna record. The reason I'm getting there by Wednesday or trying to get there by Wednesday is because of President's Cup. Is the first time in America. It's always in Europe, and I feel like no one really knows what it is or what they do or what happens. I know it's like Europe versus USA, stuff like that. But I feel like it's a very underrated thing. And yeah, that's gonna be the first video, just kind of behind the scenes of Gannon's day in the life at President's Cup. So it's gonna be a pretty exciting thing, something to peek behind the curtain on that you don't really know about. That is barring like I'm able to. I still don't know like how I'm gonna be able to film these. If I'm gonna be able to film these things, like obviously I'm gonna be able to film, but like I don't know how much access I'm gonna be able to get to certain things.
Right.
But if I can get full access of everything, then yeah, it's just gonna take you through a day in the life of President's Cup.
Dude, I can't wait. Yeah, I mean that was going to be my first question is just what plans you even have, or even just things as simple as like how would you separate working there with like things that maybe you want to do on your own? Like I assume like Liv is going out there with you as well, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have plans for yourselves of things that you'd like to check out as well.
Yeah, that's why I think it was so convenient and why I jumped on the opportunity and why I put solar on my RV and upgraded it. I finally picked it up last week and just got it back from the shop today. Just some final touches like oil change and stuff like that. Because the Gannon thing is going to be a big part, but it's going to be something that I will have a lot of free time with too, that I can like, make my own content or explore certain things or stuff like that. Because the goal is to release a lot of videos, but we're not going to do like daily vlogs or anything like that. It's going to be more so like an event recap where it's going to be a whole event recap, like when he won or when he shot the hot round. We would have just posted that as one video. How I shot the hot round at this Pro Tour event or whatever like that. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of room for just doing my own thing as well, which is why I am doing it, because if it was like a fully intensive kind of like working me to the bone, it'd definitely be a lot tougher, but that's not gonna be the case. It's something I enjoy is what I'm trying to say. Like if I was like, I don't know, out there on tour having to work for the Pro Tour, I wouldn't probably be as enjoyable as filming and editing for the number one player in the world. So it's going to be something I enjoy doing, and we're going to have a lot of free time after, as long as I get the videos up in between that time. There's a lot of time between filming and editing, as you probably know, Sajko. So I'm going to still be on my content grind, still posting a ton, and my goal is just to, I don't know, just enjoy it. That's really just enjoy the process and doing it and doing a good job. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's all you really can do is just send it. And I think you're as prepared as you ever really could be. And you'll learn something new with every event that you go to, every video that you edit, everything that you record.
Exactly.
That's like the takeaway that I've found, where like every time that I've gone to these events for another round. So like we didn't really talk about how I went to Nashville, and I'm not saying that we have to talk about it, but I think like no, it's fine. I just mean like my takeaway from going down to Nashville this latest time was I think like thumbnail related stuff. So like Josh had talked about this on the podcast as well before too, how he'll like plan the thumbnail and title before he even goes and records. Maybe that's not like an all the time thing, but that was something where I'm like, man, yeah, right. That was something I'm like, man, it'd be so nice if, because I had like an idea, like a vision for it, but I'm back in Connecticut now, so not really able to do that. I still like the thumbnail that I did, but shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, it's like, it's different when you have to take like a screenshot from the video because it's not really set for it. Whereas like I always try to. Oh, and I just realized I have a video that I don't even have the. I forgot to do the thumbnail, but whenever I do that, I'm scrambling. But it's always
Yeah.
nice to take a minute or so of me holding up the Champions Cup discs and stuff like that,
Hmm.
because it just makes it look a lot more efficient. And I really have been liking just doing, me personally, just like simple thumbnails where it's like a picture where I'm not, maybe I am adding something artificially, but
Hmm.
most of the time it's just like a picture of me holding something, and maybe I'll add text. Those are probably my favorite because it's just like, I don't know, it's just like real. If that makes any sense, where it's like the recent video I did holding up the vesties, I was just holding up the vesties. It just, to me, it just looks good rather than superimposing screenshots of vesties on the thing and me going like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think simple is a lot of times better. I mean, it's the least steps required to convey whatever you're trying to convey. And
Yeah,
I think a wider audience will be able to understand what you're trying to say. I
exactly.
mean, look, like, it really goes into like anything. Like, I think so. Me doing thumbnails lately, I guess for the podcast, they're just kind of fun thumbnails for like being the sake of a podcast. I
Yeah.
guess we could try to do more of like a modern thumbnail, but
No,
for
I
like,
feel like for a podcast, there's no sense in doing a YouTube
yeah,
esque like clickbait, like making sure people click, because people are just gonna be like, oh, this is and
oh, it's just three
nothing. Yeah,
dudes.
three heads
Wow,
talking.
every podcast ever. Yeah, so I feel like Josh is maybe kind of the exception. Like he has his style of like what you're talking about, the simple sort of thumbnail that's working great in disc golf. In which, by the way, the time of us recording this, Josh crested 100K subscribers on YouTube.
Yes,
That's real
congratulations.
big dog hours. So
That's like disc golf like royalty right there. That's like
yeah,
that's a million subscribers in real life world,
yeah,
or
but
whatever. In regular YouTube world, I don't know.
right. But anyways, going back, I feel like modern YouTube thumbnails are very different from where disc golf YouTube thumbnails are at. Because I feel like a couple of times I've tried, I'm trying to think of how to describe it, where a lot of modern YouTube uses like massive extremes or something, being like, I can't believe that this blank thing, whatever happened to me, and like references whatever it is that they're talking about, almost in this light of kind of like negativity or something like wild happened to them, as opposed to just saying like what they're actually talking about, where it's like they're not lying, but they're saying it in a manner that makes it seem like there's drama involved with it.
Yeah.
Um, so I think like that kind of seems like the modern YouTube, at least like
Yeah,
everyone's
clickbait.
different, but
Yeah, that's what
overall,
it is. Yeah.
well, yeah. And I think I've tried that a little bit, but I know we've talked about disc golf being behind in a lot of ways from even just YouTube media, whatever, maybe like 15 years or something, maybe not that much, 5 years, something like that. And there's definitely like, oh yeah, disc golf YouTube is not at that point yet. So it's kind of like, okay, well, this is where it's at. So maybe try to like cater to the audience. I don't know. It's somewhere between that and like stylistically what you like, I suppose. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Manganelli, shout out, you're listening to this right now. He's always
Yeah.
talked about how like disc golf YouTube is behind. But that's just because it's so young and niche. It's like where the regular YouTubers, they've had, there's a much bigger population to pull from, whereas like,
Oh,
our
true.
our YouTube, our disc golf is like, you can name on your fingers, like, people that have 10,000 subscribers are considered like the big disc golf YouTubers,
Yeah.
which is like, that's why I'm saying 100,000. Like when I say 100,000 subscribers, that is like insane for disc golf. Like there's
Oh,
only,
yeah.
it's like Simon Foundation, Jay Millie, and I'm not mentioning Gatekeeper or Joe Miz or anything like that. I'm just talking about like just
Yeah.
you know
Because they're not personalities. They're like
yeah
their own
yeah
entities in disc golf.
news outlets. So yeah, that's why I think is behind. It's just because it's just so much more niche and people are learning and there's not as big of a population to pull from. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
the smaller YouTubers in a whole YouTube sense are the big disc golf YouTubers. And with that, it obviously comes with more of a learning curve. Even me, like obviously my
Oh, same,
videos.
man.
What?
I'm saying like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like derail you. I just meant like I assumed you were going into like how YouTube it's like still gaining a sense of understanding of what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about it openly, but it's like I like what I'm making for the another round stuff or like YouTube stuff, but it's always learning. Like I'm not saying that it's good. Like I'm pretty sure this is the worst viewed video that we've had in like the last like 10 uploads or something like that. So, it's bound to happen and it makes you wonder like, okay, well, why would that be? But it's just reps, just strictly reps like we
Yeah,
talked about
dude.
before. And
That so the reason I said what I couldn't hear didn't realize if you said that's what I'm saying, man, or saying man. Like
oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
why. That's what I was
Yeah,
like.
for listeners, we in New England are just now getting hit by pollen. Like today, I think it was like 72 degrees, and I'm feeling it. So I apologize if I
No,
mumble
no,
at all.
no, no, no worries. Um, I yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah, reps. That's something that I think I needed to figure out myself to start posting again. Because off the bat, I had a banger video. Like it was a good video, like idea wise.
Mhm.
Obviously, I could have made it way better now, but it got 20,000 views. The first real try at disc golf that I tried, and then I did ace runs, and
Yeah,
that got 30K views, and then I went to Charlotte, and that got 30K views. So I had this expectation, like, okay, all of my videos have to get 30K views or something crazy like that. I got to do these big YouTube videos. I got to do these massive ones. And that really kind of scared me away and made me
yeah,
not post as much. But now I'm so glad that I kind of refreshed the mindset because now I don't even care about the views. Like you said, it's just posting out there. It's being consistent. I'm in such a much more consistency. And dude, I don't know how many times I mentioned this on the podcast. Someone go back and count. But how I've always said 5 years, like we're doing this
Mhm.
for 5 years from now. That's kind of
Yeah,
like the mindset I've always had. Same with the expos. It's just like I have 2 expos now, which is actually unfathomable. But
hmm
it's just like it was just slowly growing. It was slowly growing from the first expo in this tiny little room every single I wasn't expecting to get 2 expos off the bat. It's just slow growth. And I don't care about the views I'm getting now. I'm just gonna keep posting. Obviously, like when I post Champions Cup discs, I'm expecting that to do pretty well. It's MVP.
it's the MVP release, so people are
Yeah,
like, "Whoa!"
yes. But like the Vessi thing, I obviously it's a niche shoe in a niche sport. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
hmm
really granulated. So I wasn't expecting it to blow up at all, but I did it because I enjoyed it. And that's kind of like the mindset I'm in now is that just keep posting the reps consistently. And then eventually, 5 years from now, you'll have a solid fan base where you'll get 10,000 views on those Vessi shoe reviews because people just want to see what you're talking about. So I've been really happy. It gets a lot easier what in content in YouTube when you start getting views.
Yeah, of course.
It's like motivating. Like on
hmm
my bad videos now are 500 views, which
Yeah,
is great. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
still it. Yeah, exactly. It hurts because of like what you talked about. You have seen success early on in other
Yeah.
stuff, but I think you just have a healthier mindset. Sounds like.
Yes, and it's that's why I'm creating more content now. It's healthier mindset. Um, it just like, and yeah, the reason I was saying like my bad views are 500 views, I'm just saying like stick with it if you're a content creator because eventually it does get a lot easier because I know it can be daunting at first when it's like, okay, 20 views, 80 views, 100 views, 20 views. And it's like, bruh. But then once you get to that threshold of like 500 views, 1,000 views, where that's your worst video, it's like, I'm still gonna get 1,000 views regardless, and it feels good, and it's a lot more motivating. I think it's just kind of
Yeah.
getting over that hump.
Yeah, like we're on a podcast with someone that just crested 100K subscribers. And if you're a consistent listener, you've heard Josh talk about like, oh, maybe I'm burnt out right now, or maybe there's like other potential problems. And like he's doing really well, but you will always have like things that you think about, like going down the road. And but obviously he's still doing it. Like he's been putting in the time, and he's reached this like huge milestone. And so I think there's a mindset of, well, once I get to this many followers or subscribers, I'll feel good. Or it's always, I think you're always going to be like upping the ante every single step that you get to without appreciating how far you've come. So it's good to just reflect every now and again. And like Ben said, like, oh, now I have these two, oh my gosh, why am I blanking right now? We're recording later for listeners, so I can't even think of the word expo. But we got there.
It's 1 a.m. in Sajko time.
Yeah, 1 a.m. Sajko time. But we're chilling. Which, speaking of content, I saw that maybe a little weird for people that aren't aware of Marshall Street. But if you're in disc golf, you probably know Marshall Street. They are someone that never really did like a bunch of content, like shorts and Instagram to like promote discs. And lately they changed that, it seems like, and they've been out there on their course. So the course is Pyramids, for people that don't know, at Marshall Street, which is like a local disc golf retailer that's just has, you walk inside and every disc that you could pretty much ever imagine.
Even online, they have over 70,000 discs. Like you could even just go online, Marshall Street Disc Golf, and select from their thing. It's just fortunate that it's local to us.
Yeah, right. So they have like a big presence, like they've been around for a while, and just now they started, it seems like, doing content and like throwing discs and reviewing them kind of, and like they're seeing, I assume, the value in starting to do these things and show them off to people. Anyways, I guess my point is like, it's cool to see, because it was something that I'm like, man, they could be doing like so much cool content, and they're doing it now, and it's fun to watch, even if it's at the infant stages of it.
Yeah. Did you see my comment on Instagram by chance?
I did.
You did? Is it okay? Cool. So yeah, I commented, I love this new social media side of Marshall Street, because it's just what you need to do and they realize that. I mean, they present the expos, and I'm so grateful that like they're like, I'm not sponsored by Marshall Street personally, but like I'm sponsored by them, because that's how great of a of a pro shop they are. Like I will sing their praises to the moon. Like everyone should go to marshallstreetdiscgolf.com and buy them, because they are an incredible brand in company and pro shop, and there's a lot of amazing people behind it. And yeah, they're really starting to understand, which is just like the social media side. And they're the reason I was able to make that Champions Cup video. And we've had a really tight relationship where they were able to lend me those discs just for that round. And so they are starting to see kind of that content kind of helps them push out there and advertising. Yeah. Now they're on their pro tour and they're presenting the expos. So I love that you said that, because it's something I've been kind of really been singing their praises about, kind of behind the scenes myself. So it's cool to see someone else sort of mention that, they're taking it to the next level. And it's really exciting to see. Just for me personally, that's another reason that I say I rep Marshall Street, is because it's in the town that I live in. I went to Marshall Street 10 years ago when I first played disc golf and bought like one disc there. And that's how I met Matt Graham 10 years ago. I think it was like 9 or 10 years ago, whatever. And I only played like 5 to 10 times after that until I picked it really up in 2021. But it's just, just being, I don't know. It's like I'm just proud. I'm proud that Marshall Street is stepping up, and I'm just a hometown guy that, is proud of his hometown.
Yeah, I was curious if you had any part in that. Because like I'm sure someone listens to this and is like, Well, Nathan works for Another Round, so like it's weird that he's like praising this other company that like sells discs as well, and it's like I may work for Another Round, and but I can still appreciate other companies that are kind of doing the same thing because if anything, I kind of understand what you're going through, and it's like meeting the foundation guys. Like, sure, do we both are we both filling like a similar space in disc golf? Yeah, but it's all love, and like I said hi to them at down at Nashville, and I saw them in Dallas, so I always try to be nice because, and it's not like fake nice. Like I always,
Yeah, there's no animosity.
no, yeah, none at all. It's I can appreciate what they've been doing, and it's huge. So yeah, we can all exist in the space together and get along and hang out.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, shout out Marshall Street because it's been fun to watch. So I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah, keep it up because I think, and I've said this. Well, Marshall Street Disc Golf, they don't really have to make videos or do anything. They're massive, and they have 70,000 discs, and they'll always be massive. But it still helps a ton. Like I'm sure they have a lot more sales with the content and putting themselves out there and advertising than if they didn't do that. Just because, but I'm just saying, like, if they still didn't do that, they would still get a good chunk of sales just because it's Marshall Street. It's a warehouse. It's massive. But I've always, my point is, I've always said that as a pro shop, I think it's gonna, and other rounds figuring that out or figured that out, not even figured, Foundation figured that out. As a pro shop, there's so many closing down. There's probably how many courses in pro shops in Connecticut have closed down within the past 2 years, Sajko? I feel like a lot.
Two that I can think of, and it's kind of a bummer. And one was a Play It Again Sports of all things. Like that just closed like a few months ago, just out of nowhere. And I was like,
no.
I'm like, how does that happen? Like that's not even just disc golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, two. We still have a few that are around us, and
so
I hope they stick around, right?
What I was gonna say to differentiate yourself, because you're all carrying the same stuff. You're either the Marshall Street where you just carry everything and you have everything, and that's the way to do it. But it's a lot of inventory and revenue you have to spend to get there. Oh. It's a lot of money. 70,000. Do the math there.
I cannot even imagine. Like going down to Nashville, and Ryan is the owner that owns that store, Another Round Nashville.
Yep.
And I saw like the stock that they had there was unbelievable. It was so good, and
yeah,
like that's kind of what it takes. Yeah. That's kind of what it takes. Like they have the best used rack I've ever seen at a disc golf store in my life, and like the craziest things. So like I had to snag a couple things while I was there, and it's not easy. I guess is what we're trying to get at is like, sure, Marshall Street is doing great, and I'm sure they could have kept doing what they were doing for a while of just like not promoting it and probably still done okay. Yeah. But I think over time they probably would have started to feel that, and I think it's now is the perfect time to like get into doing that content. Will they see results from that in a positive manner yet? Probably not. But as long as they're consistent, like
exactly. I mean, consistency.
We've just spent an entire year of talking about being consistent pretty much on this podcast.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. As a pro shop, I feel like to really separate yourself and to be successful, you either be the Marshall Street with 70,000 discs, or you be create content and funnel people to your shop, kind of like how Another Rounds doing it in Foundation. But I know they both have warehouses, but I'm just saying, like, I think that is, I've been saying this for the past, as we see pro shops closing down, you have to differentiate yourself somehow, and I think content is one of the best ways to do so, is just making stuff, you throwing the disc that you own and then pushing people there, because it's tough out here. The COVID boom's over, and I think disc golf's feeling it. People are realizing it. Pro shops are closing down and struggling, and the ones that are going to keep rising to the top are the ones that are going to differentiate themselves and be like, this is why you order from us, because we have the best stock, or because you're just fans of their content and then you support them because you're fans. And I think it's such a winning formula. So I know this is long. Shout out Marshall Street for digging into the social media side. I think it's super cool, and I got your guys back, and I appreciate you guys presenting the expo, and y'all the best. Marshall Street.
Yeah, boy. If anyone might have seen me smiling as Ben was talking, which I was listening, but this is something that I just received. So another round last week, the end of last week, upon recording this, announced that they're opening another round Raleigh, which is
so cool.
Hype. I was not able to be there, being up in Connecticut, and it was like 2 days before. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is happening." I was like, "Oh, okay," and I just got sent a screenshot, and I will read this for you. The owner's name is Brad for that store. He says, "Here's a random question: is Nathan Sackwitz a real person at another round?" And then, like 3 hours later, never mind. He's definitely real. Haha. And then he's communicating with Ben, who's the owner of Salt Lake, and he does like all the franchising for another round. He said he is real, but he does carry strong meme lord / might be AI generated energy. So it's funny just to, I guess, see like the perception. So I guess this comes up because I reached out to him. He dude's already acing, and I was like, "Yo, can you like send me that ace?" And I'm sure he saw that, being like, "I didn't meet you this past weekend. Like, who is this guy?"
Oh, he thought you were like a scammer or something.
Right. So he's probably like, "Yo, who the heck is this dude?" But then,
That's
funny. He sees
funny.
out on another round, and he's like, "Okay, cool. It's legit."
I get.
It's
real.
Yeah, it's like, is this like BS or what's happening here? All right. So I guess, yeah. What have we been up to? I think we'll be wrapping up shortly. Ben heading out. Definitely important to like hang out with family.
Yeah.
Say bye to friends.
Pack up the RV. I gotta somehow get this whole PC monitor set up.
Yeah.
In my RV. I gotta figure that out. So.
So I guess, what have I been up to? I'm trying to think of things that I haven't already explained that weren't Ben's wedding, or like kind of going down to Nashville. There's not really too much to talk about Nashville. I guess just like going to the store, and when there was a tornado warning, we had so many people in our store, including like Austin Turner, Adam Hammis, Anthony Barella, Zach Nash, and it was so cool just watching all this effort that no doubt goes into like making a store. And then in that moment, you're like, it was all worth it. Like seeing all these people here and having a great time. And all the other days were great too. But yeah, that was definitely the day of, you'll like remember for a long time.
Yeah, no, it was super cool to see everyone there, and that tornado warning definitely helped out. Just it's funny,
for sure.
Like the blessings in disguise, where it's just like,
Yeah, right. That, and just being like right down the road from Mill Ridge, which is where the Music City Open is held. It's like a third of a mile or something like that down the road. It's just something insane. So it was awesome getting to talk to a lot of people. Something that I'm working on right now that I'll highlight. I am getting into animation a little bit, which is something that is horrifying, because doing editing at one point, that was scary. You have no idea what you're doing. You just keep doing it. And then you get to a point, at this point for me editing, do I know everything? No, but I know what I like and what I don't like, and I'm always trying to learn more doing it. So stepping into this other world that is animation, it's terrifying because I don't know anything. And there's so many options of it's basically taking things that are 2D, we'll say, and I can like add 3D effects, or it basically takes my tiny scope that I've learned over the last 2 years, and it's like, oh wait, no, like there's all this other space out here that I don't know yet.
Wait, was your Pokemon thing animation? Is that what you're talking about, or like actual animation?
No,
like
that's
cartoon.
No, yeah, I'm talking actual animation. Not like cartoon per se, but so I guess right now I'm just starting easy. So with like text animating, so I posted something on my story that highlighting that the Another Round video went up, and it was just like this. I'll try to do my best to describe a visual for listeners. It's this like web of like one continuous string that's kind of like in a knot, but the words disc golf are kind of all throughout it, and it's just like moving continuously. Is it
And you created
impressive?
that?
No, I don't, yeah, I made that. So like, is that impressive? No, I don't think anyone will see that and be like, "Whoa, that's insane." But that took me some time to make for sure. So it's just kind of expanding the palette, I guess. And so I'm working on a podcast right now, podcast intro. Is it one that I'll be on? No, it's going to be. I think you can pretty much figure out who the podcast will be for. I don't think I really have to. I mean, it's not like it's a secret per se, but I don't want to be the one that announces it because it's not my podcast, right?
Yeah.
But should be cool. So yeah, trying to get into some animation and do crazy things with words, and I don't know. I guess I'll give updates as we go.
The world is your oyster, Sajko.
The world
it's cool
is
to
my
see.
oyster.
I always think back to that buff round, when I was tweaking. You remember that round? And
I do actually. I'm not even kidding. I just thought about that today, Ben. Like, maybe not the buff round, but the first 2 times that we played together. First at I'm blanking on the golf course because that was my only time playing there. It's 2 hours away from where I live. Oak Ridge. And then Maple. I thought about those and I was like, man, that's crazy. But anyways, I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking how like I was kind of having imposter syndrome, and then you were starting to. This is before our podcast, or you in another round. You were just kind of like talking about all the cool things that were happening to you, and I was like, dude, like,
yeah,
enjoy it, man. Really enjoy it because soon, you're gonna take off and really get into the discovery and really grow, where it's gonna be like those small little wins aren't gonna be like as exciting. So it's just cool to see. The reason I'm bringing it up is cool to see just like how far since then, even like both of us have
absolutely.
Have come. It's insane. Just like even so, I don't know. It's just at the time. I don't know. It's just like weird. It's like at that time I was doing staggered stance and had my expo and
Simon stuff.
Yeah, there's a film for Simon and everything was cool. And it's just like, how can this get better? And then it's just like crazy how much it's grown.
And you're like,
That's
wow,
just about consistency.
Yeah, it's my life now. Like I can survive off of disc golf, and I have different things that I'm doing.
I'm like going on tour full time.
For like the number one disc golfer like in the world.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that as an opportunity. That I like, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like where it's just like, and same with you, just like kind of you're getting paid to travel for disc golf. It's like really cool to see, and I love this. That's the reason another reason I really love this podcast is because like we're 3 kind of young entrepreneurs in disc golf. Obviously doing our different things, content creators, entrepreneurs, influencer, whatever you want to call it. But it's so cool to see just like our progress, and our fans are going to see the progress. And I can't wait 5 years from now when it's like, what's going to happen then and what we're talking about. And just like, it's, I don't know. It's just cool that like, we're like the 3 young guns kind of like on this bubble of just like emerging and keeping going and keep rising. So yeah, super cool.
Yeah. I mean, you said it best, like talking about really difficult to recognize that progress. And then this podcast is the perfect place to do that, where we look back and we're like, oh yeah, dude, that was crazy. And maybe that's not as exciting or important to other people, but I think over time, like you said, them seeing progress where it's like, oh yeah, they're like doing the things that they're talking about. It's not just like 3 dudes that are going nowhere, just kind of talking about stuff. And I mean, no hate on that, obviously.
That's
nothing saying that you have to go in disc golf and go do whatever. You can enjoy disc golf casually.
It's just so cool that it's like so many people want to do this, and there's so many people like creating content and wanting to do disc golf full time. But it's just so cool that it's starting to become our reality. And it's I say that as a moment of like of the gratefulness and reflection, not as a like a like a haha, like I made it. Like I haven't like I have so much to grow. I'm just saying that as like, wow, I was that same person trying to make content or trying to do an expo or trying to do anything or like, and then I made it. Like like we did it, Sajko. Like I don't know why I'm having this surreal feeling. Like we did it. We did kind of what we've been wanting to do, and I can't even imagine where we're gonna go. And I think this podcast is such a cool time capsule. That reminded me when you said that, because I just realized we were talking about Disc South for a few episodes of like how I was nervous or whatever, and now it happened and we know how successful it was. But it's just, that's so cool to have this podcast as like a time capsule for that era to go back and see like wow, like this is before Disc South. This is before Sajko was the social media manager for another round in Nike. I don't know, but like stuff like that.
Yeah, this is before Nathan wore his hat normal. You go back to episode 1 and my hat is just bouncing on top of my head.
This is before Sajko went to Turkey and got his hair transplant.
Yeah, exactly. No, at this point, I would never go back at this point.
Bro, it's your style. You rock it. But yeah, very grateful. I feel like I get on this grateful epiphany every other podcast, but I do appreciate everyone listening. But speaking of which, one thing selfishly, I'm going to ask, and Sajko's going to ask, and J Miller's going to ask, is after a year of Funsie, we are eligible to be monetized, which is is such a cool step, such a cool goal. Obviously we do this out of love of our hearts, but it just, helps further support us and help us further keep doing this and for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
But we have enough watch hours. We don't have enough subscribers. So we need 500 subscribers. I think we're at 350. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or listening to us on YouTube and not subscribed yet, if you could just please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, we'd be very appreciative. Like, we're not going to make any money, but it just pays for our podcast platform every year that we upload these things so you can hear it on Spotify and Apple and all that. And that would help, where it's not going to be anything crazy, but it would just help. So if you are listening to this, if you could go over there, switch to video, or if you're watching video, please subscribe, because we need 500, and eventually we'll be able to get, once that hits, we'll be able to monetize, which is super cool. That's another thing. It's just like, we started this from nothing, and now we're at a point where we have enough people listening where we could get monetized.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people might not know how far something like that goes. Being down in Nashville, I met Joey Tamale, and he was very kind, and he was saying he enjoys what I do, and I'm like, you do? He's like, oh yeah, dude, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen you like anything ever, because that's the only thing that I can use as metric. Well, it's the only thing that I can use to like,
if someone's
understand that. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, yeah, now that you say it, I didn't even know this. I don't like anything ever. And also, like, I don't think he's alone in that. I think a lot of people are that same way. I mean,
I'll toss a like to
you,
just like, because you're my
toss a like. Get the heck out of here, dude. Don't give me any pity likes.
No, it's not a pity like. I'm meaning like, I'm active. Like sometimes I'm not actively thinking about liking. But like when I see a Sajko vid, it's like, I'll like it because you're my friend. It's like in my brain turns to be like, oh, it's Sajko, give it a like. I'm just saying, if it was just like someone I'm not close with, I probably am not thinking about liking it. That's what I'm not saying. I just toss a like to you, like a pity like.
Yeah, but point being is, it's something where it helps. Like him liking, or if anyone chooses to subscribe, it helps us. And maybe people are like, they forget that, like, oh yeah, like, that like helps these people or provides insight or like a lot of helpful things. So we're happy to do it, like Ben said, of course, but that little thing goes a long way.
It just helps a little. And And that's why I like your video, Sack. It's a support. I want to show, even though that little fraction, it's like, Sack, you my boy. I got you. No,
My
but
boy.
you do release great content regardless.
Thanks, man. I couldn't see Ben because if anyone's watching, if anyone's watching right now, yeah, I couldn't just
Why
now.
Why you mentioned that?
I said it. I said it before we started, but that's okay.
Oh no.
So if I was never making eye contact or I looked really weird, that's why. For people on video, where they're like, "Yo, Nathan is just like looking all around the room,"
I didn't know.
and not.
I just turned it back on. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but this show, but it's all good.
We got through. Yeah, but thank you everyone for listening or watching. Wish Ben best of luck on his long travel across the entire United States.
Yes.
He's going to be doing great work and have a bunch of fun because you're exploring the country and doing it through disc golf.
Yeah, very grateful. Like I said, like I could talk about it more and more, but very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had. I'm very excited, and I'm gonna do my best. Like just gotta putting myself out there. I feel like that's anyone listening. That's just what you gotta do. That's what we did, and eventually you'll get it done as long as you don't quit. So yeah, thanks again for listening. Subscribe, and that was it. Funsie.
Until next time. Later, guys.
Bye.